Ethereum fights for its right to party. The U.S. House Committee slaps Gary Gensler's lizard mouth. My chickens are taking over the entire neighborhood. Welcome to the blockchain basement. Let's go.
You ready for this? I'm ready. Welcome.
If you're gonna screw me, at least pull my hair.
Hell yeah. What you got?
They could start chopping off fingers. They're like, give me your seed phrase, but I don't know it.
Out to give the numbers out. And I was like, no, hang up the phone right now.
Or like when it dropped in 2020, was it like exciting?
400,000 to 600,000 a The generational signals are now.
Level. So I don't even know if we're going to get back below there. But if we do, that's kind of where we...
That weird zone.
What's up, you guys, and welcome. We're joined with the Frisky crew here. It's Friday. You know, we got some wonderful people already neck deep in their drinks and lunch over there.
Neck bearding
it out. AJ, Price Prediction Department, joining us. We got the chain analyzer, Decker himself. Growing, how many followers are you up to on Twitter?
I don't know, like 30. I was just happy.
Yeah.
I posted a behind the scenes of Drew, and then people kind of liked it. So I think
Was
I might do
it
this.
the meme of me having sex with a sheep or no?
No. It was
I
just
didn't know you were from New Zealand.
Yeah. And then we have, of course, the Space Commander, BJ, Biscuit Jesus himself, joining
Being
me.
classy.
That's right. He's
I
gonna be
heart
up here
you,
shuffling.
Ace. 201644. I love
Where's
you
he?
too.
Where's he?
Was that Elon's new kid?
We got the Attic, Kino, the Deadwood, Crypto Killer Whale. I said your name right. I always do. Holla at your boy, Crypto Naughty, Captain Daddy, Phil Nye, the Crypto Guy, Dan C714.
Oh, that's good.
That's a good one. Bill Nye, the Science Guy.
The
Remember
show's
that guy?
already went too far.
It is fire.
That was amazing. Down in the basement, we got Poohin, 78 Div, Big Hands Dan. We got Prime Muty. Hopefully, you guys saw what Joel was doing there in the other room. He was getting down with the get down, throwing some techno. AJ had a surprise.
Techno is electronica
I
that
had-
specifically comes from Detroit, FYI.
Really?
I ran the sickest transition. He's gonna clip it. I'm stoked on it.
Hell yeah.
I walked out.
It just was organic.
It looked good.
It was
looked
perfect.
organic.
Hell yeah.
It looked organic.
yeah.
I had to take my phone out for it.
It was
but
nice.
It's Friday. It's supposed to be my DCA day, but I don't know. I didn't move yet. I'm waiting for some downward action. I bought some stable coins, kind of put some dry powder on the side. I expect a little bit more pain. Know a lot of people have been looking at the recent pump. I just kind of feel like it happened too quick, too fast, too much. So
That's why I went short at like
You did.
8:30 and did good. I already took it out.
did?
Yeah,
Okay.
Cardano. I did great.
Nice,
Yep.
nice.
It's
There you
Bungalow
go.
Bill, Global Underground for life.
And obviously, when we focus on crypto day to day, so we'll feel like, a little bit of downward action. That's like, that's normal for us. People on the outside, they're looking like it's crashing. Really, I'm just expecting, a short term walk back. Trying to test and buy back in a bunch of assets around the 27K mark. 26K is what I'm looking at. I've been saying we're going to get slapped somewhere around 32K Bitcoin for a while now, and I still feel that way, even though there's a lot of moon math already happening. We get excited quickly in this space, and it's understandably so. It's exciting. It's doing better than stocks by a long shot. It's doing better than basically every other asset on planet Earth. Bitcoin is outperforming. So, when we talk about these short-term dips, it's not like, I'm trying to send the house out with the bathtub and the bathwater. It's just really, just a short-term pullback, a little cool off, trying to keep things within reason. So, as far as like what I'm looking for right now, there's a lot of tokens. There's a lot of narratives going on. We got AI, we got layer twos happening. We also, in my utility side, I'm looking for when the data coins, when the kind of throughput for storage comes to be a talking point right now, because we talk about these AI systems happening, but through that we still have to crawl before we can walk, and cross that bridge into Web 3 with Web 2 through the on-ramp of actual data infrastructure and being able to push all that data at the same time. So I know it's not a super sexy talking point right now, but that's why I bought DAG and set it to the side when it was low, like 3 cents. Kind of leaving that one till we see the actual bull market. That's one of those plays where it's like, I'll take a high risk, high reward type situation, put my chips into that, maybe 1% of the portfolio in general, and just let it sit all the way until the bull market. But other short-term plays, like I took a little bit of profit on Arbitrum and bought a shoddy because I wanted a 12 gauge. That was a shoddy. So
Let's go.
Why does that not surprise me?
I love it.
I had to do
Taking
it.
profit, in whatever month it is right now already. But I wanted the shotgun.
I know. I
It's
know.
fine. I wanted the shotgun.
Bubba's, I said I don't do stable coins, but this is like the first time I decided to do so in the entire time I've been in crypto, because I'm starting to use my Coinbase as more of a bank account rather than just an on and off ramp. I'm paying bills with it. What's up, Duck?
I was gonna say, yeah, I did the same thing actually this week. I put
Did you?
my some money into stables. Well, Yeah, I mean, looking at, I don't know. I don't know if you guys have the same feeling, but I feel like a pullback is inevitable. I mean, I just feel like, and we're already starting to feel that a little bit. So I'm not trying to throw in, I don't know. I feel like ETH can come back down a little bit. This is not based on any TA or anything. I'm okay and happy with having it stables, like you said. Kind of waiting to see what happens because right now, I just got that feeling like, I don't know. I just want to wait. I got enough in anyway that I'm not necessarily too worried about throwing an extra couple $100 in to kind of make a difference. So
yeah, I expect to be called an idiot for being in crypto for like at least a full year and a half before things start going well again. You know, oh Jesus!
Well, it's only been like what, 7 months, 8 months, 9 months?
Yeah, it's only been. Well, I think we're right at about a year since the Luna crash. So you know, we're right on the cusp of things beginning to go overly well. But you know, it just feels like there's a little bit more hold offish kind of crab market action in my kind of hillbilly TA that I do, you know, before things actually go to the moon. And
Also, chat, our audio levels a little bit. They were a little hot.
That's better sound, like I said.
When I'm up here, I can't monitor the audio, so I basically just look at the audio levels from. So yeah, if anybody's louder than somebody else, just let me know.
This is the way it goes. You know,
But
I
yeah,
can start screaming.
To go off of what you guys were saying, basically, this is why I think, especially if you're newer to crypto, when you do like your trades, you need to, before you get into your trades, you need to differentiate. Is this, am I buying this and I'm not selling to all-time high price discovery, or is this a trade that I'm like trying to scalp, trying to like kind of day trade? Like know the difference before you open your trade. Like sometimes people will buy, say whatever coin at say 20 cents, right? And they say, oh, I'm going to hold this to the bull run. And then it goes to 30 cents and they are asking me on Twitter, like, hey, should I sell this coin? And I'm like, well, you should have like wrote your plan down before you got in the trade, and then you would know if you were or were not at your goal. And this is exactly why, like, I've been DCAing into AHA Crypto, Algorand, HBAR, Cardano, you know, for some time now. And those, like, regardless of what's happening on the charts, it doesn't matter. I'm not touching these coins until they are at or exceeding previous all-time highs. And that's why I specifically have my separate portfolio that's strictly for day trades that I do, like my daily AGIX today. I long Phantom yesterday. I shorted Cardano today. Like, and that's why, like, with when the market changes, that's the portfolio for that. But my weekly DCA, it doesn't matter what happens on the charts because they aren't getting touched until all-time high or exceeds. So
I like that. And I was thinking of you after I heard you talking about Phantom. You're super excited about the setup that you saw. A lot of things ripped last night. I didn't look at Phantom specifically.
I did good last night, dude.
You did good?
Hell yeah.
I felt that was coming. But, you know, in general, what's that?
A quick dumb question. Actually, I've been interested with this in a while, and I'm probably going to answer this as I go through. But AJ, if capital gains on short term are
no, it's based on your tax bracket. So I don't know why he said that. I wanted to address that.
Well, no. I'm not basing it off this. Let me finish and then go to that. But if you're day trading with your tax liability, is there a certain percentage that you're looking for to make it profitable? At all? Like, is that relevant where you're like, all right, if I make a 20%,
I'm not going to say what I do on a recorded video.
You don't have to say that at all, but I'm saying it's like you make 7%.
It's not a factor. How about that?
Okay, cool.
Is that fair? Okay.
I'll ask you offline then.
All right. okay. But yeah, remember that time AJ incriminated himself on Blockchain Basement? Pretty chill. But I agree, Bubba's Crypto, trust your TA, say your stop loss, everything, keep your emotions out of it. That's the way to go. I objectively look at what's going on. Like, yes, it's actually really funny because like with Twitter and stuff, like I'll post these like prime setups. I want to post them more often, but I only post them so much, and this is why. If I do like if I put on Twitter, I like Algorand more than I like cupcakes with a cupcake emoji, it'll get 300 likes. But if I post an accurate TA setup that goes 15% in 4 hours and it gets 50 likes, I'm just like, I'm literally printing money. I'm giving you guys free money and no one cares. But if I'm like, I like Algorand more than cupcakes, everyone loves it. So I'm kind of like on this fine line between like how much of my sauce do I give out or how much do I like kind of like pander to
Well,
my
you also know
audience,
your
so-
sauce is good when the algorithm doesn't push it. So
That's true.
I post a lot of journal articles, and you guys have heard me rant before. Two of my favorite scientists are Shinya Yamanaka, and then I cannot pronounce her last name, but it's Jennifer Doudna, Doudna.
Never heard
the
of her.
founder of CRISPR. But
Oh,
I'll
God.
post papers and all that. 0 likes. I
Right.
post a meme.
Amazing. Right. It's so annoying.
That's how it goes,
It's
man.
like it's set up to keep us stupid.
It is kind of feeling that way. You know, we see a lot of moves from media against, you know, crypto and Bitcoin. Let's take a look at how it's been comparing to their other markets just year to date. This is Lark Davis, fantastic. You know, he's actually, in my view, became totally black-pilled over the last few years, and it's
Fine black
I
pill.
was gonna say, what does that mean?
it's like, you know, you just feel like there's poison in a lot of the mainstream fed media. So you begin to question a lot of things, and you begin to think really objectively. I think objective thinking is kind of the basis where I put it in. And I've seen him kind of transform into that over the last few years. I think it's really cool. And he's got a huge platform. So I think it's useful for humanity. He's calling out, you know, just casually the best performing asset of the year, Bitcoin. No big deal. Up 72%. We got NASDAQ Composite coming in at 16%. And then meanwhile, you know, they told everyone to run from the NASDAQ, that everything's going to keep crashing, recession, depression, all of these big scary words that by all means, me as a prepper, I should be digging in and being like, zombies are going to eat your dog. But I don't feel that way. I feel like the coercion and the manipulation of the markets are going to continue until something truly breaks. And if that day comes, I'm already prepared for it. I'm not sitting there on the sidelines waiting for everything to break like, you know, some scaredy cat. But we have France coming in 13%, MSCI for Korea, 12%. But it is clearly outpacing everything. Gold up 8%. You know, and I think gold is something that, you know, I mean, honestly, it's not outpacing inflation, but it is increasing. Ooh. I got long fingers. So, and then the S&P 500, 7%. So it's really, honestly, not that impressive if you look at these traditional markets. What's up? What you got, Dick?
I work for you, by the way, AJ.
No, I was literally just messing around.
No, it's right there.
But,
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Someone said,
If you want to
what's
follow
the-
AJ, aka follow AJ.
Yeah. Where is it?
AJ writes crypto.
Well, someone in the thing asked. So
if you
there
want
go.
dank memes and magic stuff,
I never
the
post
Biscuit
memes.
Jesus.
I should post Twitter memes. I know there's a couple really good ones of Drew going along. I'm inspired.
Huge.
Maybe expect some memes.
Maybe
you know,
the
what can I
biggest.
say? What can I say?
I'm big memes. You know, I'm big on memes. I'm going to be deported for my meme.
Also, the technical difficulties, fat fingers.
Yeah.
I think it's
Wait.
that
Ask
ring.
your sister about them.
Probably that ring.
It happens. Wow. You know, I mean, and looking at that chart compared to the rest of the markets, we think, you know, I talk a lot about the crab market. This is just going on to talk about it. I kind of want to zoom in on it because this is from Don Alt. Obviously, you love Don Alt. He's been pretty spot on. And this is kind of the zone of a confirmed bull market. It comes in right at 32,200 on his account for it. We are still within this indecision zone, and down here is kind of, I'm not feeling like we're going to just crater down to here again.
You care?
I mean, I would love it. I'm not,
I mean, positively.
yeah, I mean, I would positively care. I don't expect to catch this ball sack pattern again, but you know, it's basically, I'm feeling like we're going to get somewhere around, sorry to make you choke, Decker.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Yeah. But I feel like this is reasonable for like a quick cool off and then a move on up here. You know, I don't feel like this is not going to be captured at a point, but I just feel like we went here so quick. What do you think about this, AJ? What are your thoughts? Give me your TA.
And then I do want to
Yeah,
ask
I mean,
AJ
basically, if you kind of draw like a little channel in your mind there on that chart, you can see that we've already broken out of the channel. So if it comes back down, we're basically looking for it to retest the outside of that channel. And as long as it doesn't break back into the channel and we bullishly like come down, hit the line and stay above the top line of the channel, we're alive. And sometimes if that dip, you know, goes to, if that channel is still at 26, 27, and people feel like it's the end of the world, right? So it's just, it's like sometimes people are kind of misinterpret certain moves in the market. But I kind of agree with Ben with the idea that if the bottom is already in, in retrospect, when we look back at this time period, this will be considered a part of the bull run.
Oh, absolutely.
And I feel that. Like, I don't see us putting in lower lows on Bitcoin. And if I do, I'm just straight up wrong. But a lot of people in TA, they kind of dance around the answers and they'll say, well, it could do this or it could do that. And they won't actually pick a side. I'm picking a side.
Yeah.
The bottom's in.
I like that.
So
The bottom is absolutely in. And
Yeah.
I honestly feel like, I'm not saying everybody here called it, but I feel like we all pretty much called it based off
Felt
of
it.
the miner values. I'm sorry, the cost per producing everything and hit everything. Quick question I did want to ask you though, AJ, is so we're dealing with some aspects of diminishing returns, but typically Bitcoin, what X's last all-time high? Is it what, like 3.5%? Or 3.5 times? I'm sorry.
The move the last bull market move we had.
Yeah, it's around 3
yeah,
times. 'Cause was
3.5. It was
It
like
was.
20 almost, and then went
69, 420.
Yeah. So
But bull run this year, my price prediction department was 120 to 140,000. If I had to pick an exact number, I'd say 130.
which
Yeah.
that is roughly doubling.
That's doubling. So
Okay.
so diminished returns are still in
You're keeping
effect with
diminished
that.
returns in mind.
mind,
in
yeah.
that. Yeah.
just for the next bull run, not for forever, just for the next bull run.
So triple would be, or not 3.5 would be like 230, 240.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
would
here's
be.
the thing. I don't know. Supply shock, I'm not sure. You know a lot more about TA than I do. I'm just saying, my in my bones, I'm not ruling that out. That's all. Just
It
because
could
of how
definitely go higher, but that it all. Listen, a lot of this stuff isn't our control. It has to do with regulation. It has to go with the sentiment of the market. It has to go with how accessible is crypto to everyone. If they're going to put up all these roadblocks and make it impossible, or make people feel like they're doing something wrong because they're partaking in crypto, it's not going to go as high. But if the floodgates open and like the government just calms the F down and we can do this thing, we're going to be fine. But it's just a matter of like, because we're all talking about mass adoption. Well, if mass adoption is if we're deterred away from that because of regulation, we're only going to get so high. And if it really takes into effect, we might not even put in another all-time high. CryptoFace said, the all-time high from last run was the forever top. I asked him that on Around the Blockchain probably a month and a half ago. Do you still subscribe to the forever top theory? And he said yes. And he said, as long as that's the top for the next 5 to 10 years, I will feel like I was right. And that's CryptoFace. Like I look, he's basically my idol for TA. His market cipher, his TA, he got me into crypto the way I'm into crypto. And when he said something, I listen, but I kind of disagree with him unless he's seeing something I don't. If China gets back in, if regulation chills out, there's no way that's the top.
Kind of what you're saying is, so a lot of times when people talk about adoption, having Coinbase and other things like that and having accessibility and making things simple, I think that actually is less a part of the equation, more so to what kind of AJ was saying. It's like, let's say you do know how to buy crypto, you do have access to Coinbase, but the government's fudding it. People are saying it's crappy. I think that's a huge part of the narrative of accessibility, because if you're scared to do it because there's a mainstream narrative telling you not to, I think that's a factor a lot of people don't talk about, because we're like, oh, we need to make Web3 simpler. Like, I was talking to you when I tried to buy a Bobcat miner.
That's true.
Years ago, which I still don't have.
Yep.
Anyway,
this exact same thing happened to me.
But the thing was, it was like, send USD ERC20 to this address, and I was like, what? And
how do we get a receipt?
And
for
when I
it,
think of
right?
accessibility, I think about that. But it's just like, are you going to buy something when 10 of your friends tell you you're crazy?
Yeah.
And I think that's the accessibility
I
we
did.
need to be talking about. Yeah, I did too.
But most people won't. I think that's
exactly.
the point.
On the
People are,
regulation
you know.
side, are we really like that hopeful in our government to come to terms and be reasonable on regulation at this point? Like,
Depends on who wins the next
I've
election.
been thinking about the military strength of the U.S. for a long time and how that plays into this whole China tussle. But now that I've like sat back and watched how horrible our regulators and House Committee and House of Representatives have handled all of this obvious corruption, this feels like a controlled demolition to me of the United States. This feels
Like 9? Never mind.
you know, this feels like we're purposely arbitraging
Uno.
ourselves out of world
I was
trade.
speaking German.
No, I know.
Oh
I know.
my God, that was good.
Yeah, thanks.
Nice.
You know, so it just kind of feels like we're in this like controlled demolition where we're taking away all of our teeth as a country. There's a lot of atrazine in the water and things like that.
It's
happen.
pronounced
What does that have to do?
atrazine.
We're transitioning into a much softer
Wow.
society.
Well, how do
and-
you feel that is gonna affect crypto? Like, I mean, I love the truth.
Complacency.
We're leaving
like-
ourselves out of what this next realm of finance is going to be. We're
No, hold
leaving
on.
ourselves behind on
The
purpose.
politicians in power right now are doing that, but that can change. You know, like Republicans are in control of the House right now, so there is a system of checks and balances that keeps this thing in check. There is a lot more people are
don't
leaning
feel-
more towards pro crypto than not pro crypto. How many people in the world don't want a chance to make life changing money? It's
all
only
of
the
them
people
do.
in power that
Yeah.
are suppressing your average day person from breaking the system, because the people in power need people to work in the factories, need people to work in McDonald's, need to hold people down. Of course, they're trying to stop this, but it's no one. I don't know anyone that would vote on a one issue vote against crypto. I don't know anyone besides people in power.
Look at the people that are in charge of regulating it.
I can think of a lot of people, unfortunately.
Yeah, the people that are in charge of regulating it are not handing over check this out. Look at this.
Well, how
source.
many pro? We'll go on to this in a second, but how many pro? And this is me calling AJ out because I can't answer this either. But how many politicians can you name that are pro crypto?
Pro
like
crypto?
a handful.
Like 5.
I mean,
Yeah.
what, Loomis and who else?
Ted Cruz.
I
I mean,
Elmer, Tom
Kennedy's
Hammer.
running. He's pro crypto.
Yeah, no one's gonna listen to him though.
Yeah,
But,
I don't
I
know.
mean, I
Ron
would just-
DeSantis.
I'll just say, like, I went to college in Nebraska. I'll make
Very
this real quick.
polarized people, by the way.
Yeah.
I feel, I mean,
Or Emmer,
I
right?
see your point, but I feel like the general population is like, when they hear Bitcoin, they think Silk Road scam, lose
Yeah.
all my money. At least that's the
I
feeling
think
that I
they
get from a lot of
think
people.
simpler than that. It's
Not even
I
Silk
hear
Road.
it bad, it bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think until that changes, which to your point, you're exactly right. It's the people in power that are forcing that. I mean, it's everywhere. It's crypto bad because again,
Well,
like
the
you said, they don't-
socio-cultural economical ladder has always been supposed to be very hard to climb.
Yeah.
Crypto has given people a shortcut, and they don't want that shortcut. And, you know, Manikwak said, the thing is, AJ, everyone can't be rich. You're right, but they could be if they tried.
But it is wild to think about. It's like sometimes when you step back from thinking about crypto, you're like, all right, one day we used to be on a barter system. Out of nowhere, somebody's like, this shiny yellow thing, this is what we're going to use to control people. And that was decided by a centralized power group. And then you have from out of nowhere a thing that also does that. That's going to scare the crap out of you. Because I talk a lot about like biological systems, that biological systems not change until you have external forces that cause that to happen.
100%.
And typically governments don't like those external factors that you cannot see. And that's what crypto
Preach.
Just
100%.
is.
And the idea of the coins and the gold, or just a transfer of value through money, it was preceded by salt and cows and physical goods. But you can't cut a cow in half if you only want half the amount of salt, right? If you're trading the goods, so they had to come up with a way to change it intermediary. Just what I see like on the regulation side is we are slow walking ourselves out of the conversation of being a world power anymore. It's just what I feel like is happening. We saw Eleanor Tourette I think she's part of Fox, but she has really good commentary on the SEC side, mostly on the XRP side. This is actually on FTX. Chairman Patrick McHenry and Representative Huizinga call out SEC Government Chair Gensler for failing to provide information on charges against SBF and FTX. Failure to produce the requested information could result in the committee considering using compulsory process if necessary.
Do we know what the technical charges are? I mean, granted, this is saying
no.
no.
That's what they're demanding. They're trying to understand exactly what the SEC is going after FTX for, and the SEC.
Is there a habeas corpus for crypto? I guess it'd be habeas crypto with.
I mean, they need something new, because I mean, like, it's just basically, they want some actual answers from the SEC, and Gensler's just handing them, spoon-fed answers that are already publicly available about what FTX supposedly did, but they're not actually giving details on what they're going after FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried for. And you also have the no action relief meeting that Gensler had with SBF at the beginning of 2020. I think it was 2021. 2022 is in March, one of those years where basically gave them no action relief, meaning we're going to look the other way knowingly on your new exchange.
So you have an immediate conflict of interest.
Absolutely, 100%. And you know what? This is the best that we get is, hey, we need some more information. Like, no, this person needs to be arraigned and held in front of a criminal trial with all the evidence put forth in front of the people. There's evidence that people didn't even care about, like how FTX was synthesizing assets and no one gave a crap about that. They literally, the conversation was over with and the public stopped caring before we could even get to the fact that they were synthesizing Bitcoin on their exchange.
And do you know what drives me the most crazy is that people are actually having the conversation if FTX should get a second chance.
Yeah.
They are having that conversation. Yeah. Why?
And FTT's pumping.
Why? Like this game, crypto, this game, from the exchanges all the way down to the influencers. Your reputation is everything. Your reputation's everything. And if you mess that up so bad, so publicly, so terribly, in front of everyone, you're done.
It doesn't matter.
You're done. No,
you're not. That's the problem.
No. That's not true, dude. That's not true at all. Like Sam will, but obviously, like if FTX came back, it would be under different management. But like what I'm saying, like Sam, done. Caroline, done. All of them, like the other guy who lived on Orcas Island, shout out to Burley Hildreth. That guy's done too. Like your reputation's everything, and I don't think FTX should ever come back. I can't even believe people are having the conversation.
You say
that was my point.
everything, but people have extremely short attention span. So
I agree.
In my mind,
on the principle. No, I agree on your principle.
Yeah,
I do.
Yes.
Too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think it always holds true.
What you got?
Which is gross as hell.
What you got?
And like I said, no, I was just saying Jordan Belfort, kind of an example there. It's like, well, he kind of scammed a lot of people in the 80s and sold them, and 30 years, I'm saying 30 years later, if to being devil's advocate, again, I do agree with you on principle. Reputation is everything. But I think you can always dig yourself out of a trench regardless. I think most times.
Tell that to J.K. Rowling.
I bet she's doing fine right now.
I'm kidding. I love J.K. Rowling. I was just kidding.
No, I know. But you see my point there. It's like, well, maybe it's a 30-year time frame, but I'm not, Sam might be back in the crypto game in 10 years.
But what I'm saying is that, like, if Leo DiCaprio plays anyone in a movie, people are going to like that person regardless of how many people they scammed. You know what I mean?
But you can think of companies that have been fined.
I see what you're saying.
Fined billions of dollars for mismanaging products that they create, and then something happens in a year that rhymes with Wenny, and apparently they're absolved of all their sins.
Yep. Protected, not even just absolved, they're legally protected.
Wait, who? I missed that first
We
part.
have very, I'm being
canceled.
Yeah. We have very short-term memories, and it's extremely gross.
Well, I have a story talking about our short-term memories. Check this out. Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs blocks a bill that would remove taxes on Bitcoin mining. Now, if you remember, not just 1 or 2 months ago, Katie Hobbs was found to be in connection with laundering money for the cartel.
Was that Defiant L's? It's one of my favorite Twitter accounts.
Like, how is this person still calling the shots? Literally, like, you get caught up in a scandal laundering money and purchasing houses for the cartel, and yet you get to tell, as the governor still apparently, people that they are still going to owe taxes on Bitcoin mining out of Arizona. It really blows my mind that, tar and feathering hasn't come back. It's just,
in this economy, that stuff's expensive.
I think it's worth it at this point. I know inflation's high, but seeing this type of stuff, it's really incredible. Just the name and the title still held in and of itself, beyond the, you can still tax people on running a software to be a part of a decentralized consensus system. You're taxing them on that. Okay, that's one level of absolute tyranny, but then the fact that you are still the governor after being caught up laundering money for one of the most violent cartels on earth is it's bewildering to me.
I'm not a big fan of taxes. I can understand taxing on the profit on the back end, but are they saying as you're mining, because you're already paying you're paying taxes in the sense on the electricity and everything else, but are they specifically saying paying taxes on the act of mining?
Here's my guess. Again, I didn't read it. My guess is, since they're a Bitcoin mining company, when they receive Bitcoin as a reward, they probably have to, block reward, they probably have to count it as income. We call back to, remember Odell Beckham Jr. took his salary in Bitcoin?
Yes.
So
and then
he had to pay
wrecked.
taxes on $1 million in Bitcoin,
Yes.
even though the Bitcoin itself was worth 300,000 or whatever by the end of the time, or 3 months after the end of the year. So the point is maybe they, let's say you get 10 Bitcoin, they probably have to pay taxes on right now $300,000. But I'm just assuming that probably has something to do with that, because it gets really intricate with tax law and crypto. Because, okay, is that a revenue item, or is that now, what's the cost basis for that? Is it the energy that you use to make that Bitcoin? Like, is it
1099 because you had to buy these things and it becomes a business?
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to, it gets real dirty.
They owe me my tax money back.
Exactly.
They owe me.
Point being,
I want a full refund on every tax dollar I've given, because you left billions, $80 billion worth of material
in Europe.
And
Afghanistan.
Taliban.
Right.
They gave it to
Now they're
Taliban.
sending us pictures of, hey, look at all your
they got
tanks.
holographics.
We wasted 23 years in the sand fighting the longest war this country's ever seen, and then just leave $80 billion of our materials that the tax people paid for for those enemies. And now that's just fine. We're just going to move on to the next conflict. That makes no sense. You owe me a refund at this point. Not only do you get to stay out of my bags, and this is the stuff that, I just wish people would wake up and be a little bit more callous-handed about, because this country was actually founded. Yeah, that's how I feel.
Sorry, just
that is how
Good
I feel.
vibes.
Bring him back up again. Bring that little fella back up.
Just tell me how to do my job. Hold on.
Well, just a little bit.
Let me do this to make. Hold on, you ready? Everyone, push
I'm
it.
ready. That's exactly how I feel right here. Look at this. Look at Doge. She's unpleased, and like,
Wait, it's a she?
I don't know. Maybe who knows?
Well, it is a Doge.
What does
because
Doge
it's a
identify
dog.
as?
A dog.
He's cute.
A dog. Anything that it's a dog is a Doge.
He's
in my
cute.
mind.
This country is founded. U.S. is founded on a taxation of much less than the system that we have right now. How much is too much? When are people going to say no? Enough is enough.
That's I ask myself
60%.
I ask myself that question every day. Like, everyone just did their taxes right now. I'm a writer. I have all the writing jobs. I have a lot of 1099s, and it's a joke. It's a joke. And at the end of the day, the thing that makes me the most mad, like, if I knew like where my taxes went, if I knew like how many kids got computers at schools, if I knew what happened, that'd be one thing. But when they're just dropping the ball, like the stuff Drew was talking about, and like we're fighting a proxy war with the Ukraine, and their air defense is out at the end of this month, basically, and we're $31 trillion in debt. Are we going to re-up their air defense, or are we going to feed our homeless people?
Right.
Guess what? People are still starving.
Or educate
and the fact
people.
that we can't, like most people, like I forget, I read some
XYZ.
statistic like in California, like most, like whatever percent of kids in 8th grade can't even read or write. Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Like, what is happening? It's just it infuriates me.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to take X amount of dollars just from like normal people like me or whatever, like at least make me feel good about it. Like, I don't want to, like, honestly, the homeless thing is actually what bugs me the most. It is really embarrassing, like how many homeless there are in like every major city, and we're all this money in debt, but we're doing all these billions of dollars to the Ukraine.
Yeah. And
like,
empty commercial
sick.
office spaces all over the
makes
place.
me sick.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I have 2 books for you to read if you're trying to know what's going on. 1984 and Animal Farm.
Right, George Orwell knew what he was doing.
And what I'm calling for, we have to keep in context. When we got the big move, 1776, we had help. We had help from the French. We had infrastructure. We had materials. There was external national assistance to the U.S. to actually take power back from the British, because the French had a reason to fight the British at the time. Now, things have kind of changed.
All right.
We have...
Everyone hide your erections, because this is hot. You ready?
Pull it up.
Boom.
Look at this.
This.
France is changed greatly from the time that the U.S. was formed. So this is in Paris. This week, protesters against the pension reform, making them work longer to basically the point of death before they can have the chance to retire, blocked the approaches to the Constitutional Council for France, building barricades of garbage containers, and at the same time, the head of French Interior Ministry banned protests near the building on the Constitutional Council. So this is illegal at the time it was done. They don't care. But these are the French people that are still freedom-minded. Here's what their leader is doing. He's a World Economic Forum young global leader puppet, and he is in. He actually spent 6 hours with Xi Jinping.
Hey, dude.
And he is selling us down the river. French President Emmanuel Macron has stunned allies by saying that Europe must
Macron?
It's Macron.
It's Macron, but
I call him Macron because I'm going to eat him like a little cookie. Must reduce its dependence on the United States and avoid getting dragged into a confrontation between China and the U.S. over Taiwan, a position that experts say is calibrated to persuade China to mediate the ongoing crisis in Ukraine. I've been saying China's going to try to get the spot of being the good guy in this whole thing to come out on top for the entire world this entire time. To control demolition into their hands, in my opinion, through the World Economic Forum. That's just my take. The one China policy of the U.S. differs from the one China principle, which is China's view that this has sovereignty over the actual mainland, Hong Kong and Macau and Taiwan. Under the U.S. one China policy, Washington acknowledges but does not endorse Beijing's view that it has sovereignty over Taiwan, and it considers Taiwan status unsettled. And Taiwan
Acknowledgement is endorsed.
Yeah, it is.
No.
Yes.
I'm going to disagree.
To a
What,
degree.
Yes.
acknowledging? Hold up.
So say you don't like people beating puppies and you watch somebody beat a puppy. You're complicit in that activity.
If you don't stop it.
The same thing. If they acknowledge it, they're accepting.
They're just,
It's just, it's on paper they don't accept it, but they accept it.
And Taiwan
That's
is
No, they
complacency.
don't agree with it, but they accept it. I'm saying they're not. Of course, they agree.
No,
They-
if they said they denounce it, that is different. But they acknowledge it.
And this was who that? Oh, France. I was acknowledging it.
No, the U.S.
If you just acknowledge but doesn't accept it, that's
I feel like I don't know. Maybe it's just a non.
Well,
thing
here's
we're
more
arguing
to it.
about, but I don't know. Yeah, go for it.
Macron made his comments after spending 6 hours with President Xi while visiting China from April 5th to the 7th, and his statement drew massive criticism from some politicians and scholars in Europe. And here's, Trump saying he's, a lost friend.
Very sad. Very sad.
Analysts told Voya Mandarin that Macron might be sacrificing France's position on Taiwan in exchange for China's mediation in the war between Russia and Ukraine by basically trying to buy temporary safety from China over this proxy war. Now, I just wanted to bring this up because this country, the United States, was founded with help. We had help from France. That is openly known. It doesn't like to be admitted because the idea of France is kind of, they're softies, or, they're not softies. If you watch what the people of France have been doing for the last few years, they have been out a lot. You started with the yellow vest. Now you have the pension reform.
You're going to
movements.
claim that they're softies. Here's some homework for everyone. Is it Albert Camus, The Rebel? Read that book.
Yeah.
Come back to me on Monday.
Okay.
About the French being softies?
No, about fucking French Revolution. Like, The Rebel is one of my favorite books.
They're pretty hardcore.
It's-
I'll
The
check it out.
actual people are
So
pretty
good.
hardcore. And they're just being led by a World Economic Forum implant, the same as Canada's being led by the same type of young global leader. And it just is really sad to see our what was an ally absolutely just rug pull the United States in eloquent fashion.
Well, yeah, it doesn't really. The one article I read said that Macron, however you pronounce his name, he wasn't exactly like impressed by Jinping. How do you pronounce it? I suck at pronouncing his name. Every time I read his name, my brain goes, what does that say? Like, I cannot pronounce
it's
his
not
name.
that hard.
But I read the article I read that they basically said that he wasn't like that impressed. Like, just because he hung out with a guy doesn't mean that like that they're in bed.
The very fact that he's going over there while NATO is hard-sidedly against him on a battlefront that's the largest this world's seen in 100 years, that says a lot. You know? And Taiwan is intrinsically important for the industrial technological revolution. They produce the chips. Taiwan Semiconductor Corporation and a lot of their raw material production.
The U.S. may have the silicone. They got the silicon.
Yeah.
So
that's the thing. So Taiwan is really a key for expanding your economic power over the next 50 years. They have the production ability. They have the infrastructure to produce these things. They have trained people that know how to produce them. That infrastructure is built. So he who controls the chips is going to be the world leader. And I feel like that's why we see this tug of war between the U.S. and China, or the U.S. and China over Taiwan. And I've said Taiwan's going to happen after Ukraine for years now. It's like watching grass grow at times because, it's something that I've been watching and thinking about for a long time. That's just now slowly starting to happen. But it also validates my overall thesis. And, it's really unfortunate to see.
Wait, the ship of?
The ship. Oh, God.
Continue.
Taiwan's no easy pushover either. If you look at their military size, they have over 1 million active members of the military.
And they're an island, so
Yeah.
tactically they're a really good spot.
And they won't back down from what they're saying. Like America is telling China to restrain. like to not do this, while Russia's like, if you want to take them over, why don't you go ahead and take them over? So really, it's like we're setting up this stage where like Russia and China versus like us protecting Taiwan. And also, like Japan isn't exactly stoked on it either, because the waters near Taiwan, there's an American air like base. Like not that far from those waters in Taiwan in Japan. So the Okinawa one isn't
the Okinawa.
My
buddy.
It's that one. But there's so much like tension over this situation, and I don't like it. But
it's happening because this is a technological revolution.
Right.
That's what, and that blockchain and cryptocurrency and the money transfer and the data transfer, this is all part of the same conversation. It's just a really, really big one. It's like, it feels like the renaissance of technology, but also the renaissance in information. You know, now, you know, we got all you awesome people in the chat. You know, we can sling information in real time to people. I think that might have a basically a variable effect on the situation. I don't think history is going to play out exactly the same now that people can communicate at this breakneck speed. As that increases, also the game will change. But you know, that's why we're always looking into these new ideas like AI. And on, you know, crypto, I'm trying to position myself to own a lot of land and to be as self-governant as possible, so I'm not reliant on the system, because the system is at risk. You know, I always, you know, talk about the strength of the U.S. military and warheads on foreheads, but there is something going on in the grander scheme of things that feels a lot like melted steel beams. So, you know, with that, I'm trying to find a entry point into Ajax, Singularity Net, and Singularity DAO. I've been like, this is CoinGecko and their AI kind of section. I know Nick has been heavy on Render. That's been a big mover right now.
It has been
24 hours up 4.9%, 7 day 28%. Now Singularity's honestly, it's only up by 4.9% over the week. So it's not looking like it's on too big of a tear right now.
It's gone from just under 41 cents to 43.3 since 9 a.m.
So a little bit. It's got a little move.
Yeah, if you longed AJX the second you got into work today, you'd be up over 5% right now.
But is this upward movement going to continue? This is the 7 day.
Do the 90 day.
Yeah, let's do the 90
because we're
day.
outside of the big.
Yeah, and so like I guess if you back up, I mean, this thing does happen to get peaked out right here recently. What was this peak at? Is that 64 cents? You know, and I was hoping to get this entry point. I wanted something like this right at 30 cents, but I don't know if I'm going to have patience enough to get that move.
Or the max supply.
Let's check it out. Max supply is, we got 2 billion. Yeah. So total supply 1.2 bill.
Yeah,
so you're keeping your eye
hot.
on Ajax.
Mm-hmm.
BJ,
sir,
you keeping your eye on anything this week? You still like an ADA? Are you still?
Of course, ADA. I mean, I unfortunately moved out of my position in Charlie, which is the Oracle, to do a very degenerate play, but I would still look at things like that for sure.
Yeah. What about you, AJ? Do you have anything particular? We're talking long term. Didn't mean to commandeer this from you, Drew.
No,
like,
you do it.
I know people like those alt picks. And those
I was just
picks.
sorry for being on my phone. I was just checking the AJX chart. I was actually looking at getting into a long before the basement, and I should have just pulled the trigger because I was right.
What?
Dang it, for longing AGIX. But so basically, like I said, my accumulation plan, AHA Crypto, Algorand, HBAR, ADA, those are the coins I'm buying. I also have a little bit of like, you know, Filecoin, ICP, XRP, stuff like that. But basically my day trades kind of switch between AGIX, Phantom, and I traded Cardano today because the chart was prime. I have had the render chart open once it started popping up and kind of looking for that chart to retrace. I also have my eyes on like Arweave, a couple more kind of degen picks like B-Pro did really good this past week. Yeah, I'm always kind of jumping around charts for my day trades, but Phantom and AGIX are my top 2 day trade picks. Basically, like if Bitcoin trades in like a 2% range, when you follow that direction, these coins trade in like a 10% range.
Yeah.
And the money's made in the middle, and you use the volatility to your advantage with leverage.
Yeah.
So that's your trading, but then what about you said your accumulation?
Accumulation's AHA,
right?
crypto.
AHA crypto.
Yeah, Algorand, HBAR, ADA.
I held like a small bag of Arbitrum, and obviously, as I said, I bought a Mossberg Shockwave. Okay, but the 14-day on Arbitrum looks like absolute chaos. Like, I don't know if this girl's coming back to town here. Let's check it out. So this is the big middle finger it threw me this morning right there. That's the beginning of it. Now, I sold right here. I was out on vacation, just wanted a little extra. Well,
You sell?
I just wanted to sell a little bit.
You wanted to buy a shotgun.
You know, it's
Oh yeah.
and then it
sue me.
ripped.
Yeah, and then it ripped. So, you know, I missed out on a good
Pump
amount of
it.
profits, but I did pump something else. So,
Hey yo.
yeah.
I mean, I should say I think I agree when it comes to ADA. I've been looking at that.
Mm.
I just before we moved on
Wait, ADA? You mean
ADA,
the coin that you can stake specifically with NES pool?
Your NES pool's doing some good.
It's ripping.
It's ripping.
Yeah.
Ripping.
So-
NES pool is good. It's sexy. I'm a single pool operator, a single father with no children.
I got your baby.
But yeah, if you guys want to learn how to stake, NES pool is the way to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that dry powder I got is kind of looking at ADA. It's doing one of these ones. You know that meme with
HBAR.
that one?
What are
HBAR
you-
hasn't pumped yet.
You know that
Don't
meme with
hurt
like
the
that dude who's with the orange suits behind the trees with like
Oh,
looking
yeah.
at the
I love
yeah.
that movie.
That's how it's looking at. That's how he's looking at that. The USDT is looking at that.
You guys stick out the tongue when
But
you
I'm
do it. It's
sorry,
like
I didn't mean to interrupt you.
But
Drew. We
dude,
go back to the
ADA
charts.
pumped 13% this week. Algorand and HBAR haven't popped yet. Why would
Yeah.
you buy ADA?
because I like ADA.
long
Yeah.
term.
But anyway, we
Long-term
keep going,
vision.
keep going.
No.
But ADA's always been on my mind. Like I said before, you guys have heard me. Africa, I'm huge on Africa 30 years from now.
Well, their
that's a huge-
population is going to be huge. It's going to be a powerhouse economically. That's a reasonable take.
And Hoskinson is focusing so hard on Africa. He doesn't even, I mean, you can tell because there's no price movement, meaning because he doesn't care about the USA. Not really, but he doesn't really like.
He's pissed right now.
He's exactly.
pissed.
And he
Hosky is
wants
on
to make a
warpath.
good system. He's not worried about pumponomics and getting into the news cycle. So
Yeah, guys also have to learn, since he's hitting Ethiopia, learn some Amharic and learn how to say Amaseganalo.
Whoa.
Is thank you in Amharic.
Is it really?
Yeah,
shout out
Amaseganalo.
Africa, but yeah, I think 20, 30 year outlook in Africa and India
Yeah.
are huge. So, but
Absolutely.
anyway, we can keep going here.
So one BRICS nation, one non.
India's kind of in a really weird place right now.
But sure, they're almost yeah.
I don't know. Their trade still overlaps with NATO countries. They're obviously they're sandwiched into the word BRICS. But they have this contention with China over that long border that they share, and that's been going on for a long time. So India, though it is the eye in BRICS, it's a big question in my mind.
Yeah.
Like, I'm leaning towards they're just going to go with China and Russia as their monetary and trade side. But they do have the ability to play both sides to a degree. They're kind of turning into the factory of the world. Like China had that for a long time, 50, 70 years. India has now built a pretty large infrastructure of manufacturing capabilities, but the health of the people and the quarters that they live in, that's a situation that is hard to expand with your current infrastructure. So there's got to be something done on the macro there for their population to keep growing and economically keep turning into the powerhouse that they look like they could be.
True.
Yeah.
Why does G4 Life also know Amharic?
Oh, we do. We got someone in the chat that knows. Heck yeah, man.
Frames.
I definitely am going to move
Impala.
back in Arbitrum though. Okay. It's something that I'll probably try to sit around and wait for that $1.30 mark to come back. But I just see it as a really strong layer 2 for Ethereum. I don't see Ethereum. I have my shirt on because, the project is light blue, but the money's green. And I do enjoy, taking profits on highly profitable projects that still have tons of big businesses interested in them. And me and Johnny were talking about that. Like, you can have the greatest infrastructure of data flow and everything, but if institutions and big money aren't lining up and partnering with you, then what do you really have? You just have a really great picture of something that could be great.
That reason right there is why I like HBAR.
Yeah.
People are sleeping on HBAR. I mean, that's fine with me. But when the government comes out and has all this thing about how they're partnering with Google, how they're partnering with Microsoft, how they're partnering with this other tech company, and what's the one blockchain they partner with? HBAR, because it's an enterprise blockchain. It literally covers every bull base, time of finality, lightning fast. H bar, don't sleep on H bar.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I mean, you can think what you want, but their community is massive, and there's a reason for that.
And that's part of
Can't
the
make me
bag that
buy
I
this right now.
sold for my vacation. You know, like I bought it at 3 cents, like not even that long ago, and I just sold it at like 6 or 6.5 cents. Like that's a good little short-term move.
Yep.
I bought way more crypto in Bitcoin than I did these smaller plays at the 17K and 20K mark. Now I'm kind of feeling a little bit greedy. Like, you know, I've already that Bitcoin bag is already doubled. I'm waiting for it to calm down just a touch, just daddy chill. Go back down to 26, 27K. That's what I'm hoping for.
You know what's
you know?
so funny, dude, about that is that like on Blockchain Basement, a couple, you know, back when Bitcoin was 17K, TJ was all about buying Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, dude, like the alts, the market caps are so much smaller. Like
He nailed
they're
it.
going to rip so much better than Bitcoin. And at the time, I like was setting the Ledger video up for BitLab Academy, and I put $100 in Bitcoin, and that it's still on the Ledger, that $100. And while my Algorand is basically the same, like the 5K that I bought a couple months ago is basically the same.
Yeah.
That Bitcoin's $172 the last time I checked.
Right.
And I was just like, TJ was right.
Yeah.
Like TJ was so right, and I was sleeping on it so hard. And at the time, I didn't get what he was saying. I was like so focused on the smaller market caps, but he completely called it. And when I'm wrong, I completely own it when I'm wrong.
I get
so.
where your mindset comes from, though,
Right.
because you're coming right out of the last bull market.
Yep.
We saw Solana just go from like whatever 1 cent to however much it went. Solana moved crazy, and ADA moved crazy. So we're fresh out of that bull market. I mean, it feels fresh still, but I can see where your mindset is. I've just always been, you know, making sure that at least 60% of what I'm holding is in Bitcoin, at least 20% in Ethereum. And then beyond that, you know, I think I actually have like 5 or 10% in XRP. So I have a pretty big holding in XRP that's very old. And I'm waiting for this garbage to be done with the SEC before I actually sell it. And I'll probably be holding it until the top of the next bull market. These small plays, these other types of projects I'm looking at, like Arbitrum, like Optimism, they make up like 1, maybe 2% of the overall.
Do you see Arbitrum moving like Optimism did? Like, do you think Arbitrum's the next Optimism?
It's already outpacing Optimism in this week for the gains.
But just for this week. But remember, Optimism went from like $1 to $3.
I
Do you
don't know.
think
I think
Arbitrum
Arbitrum's
can do
going to
that?
outpace.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. And I still hold my Optimism bag. I took those little moves off of Arbitrum, and I really feel like the amount of TVL that Arbitrum has, and the amount of involvement with the projects that are using Arbitrum, like, but then you have the wild card of Coinbase and Base being on Optimism. So that's a big question. Coinbase and Base are operating off of Optimism. So we'll see where that buck lands. I don't know.
That's going to be interesting.
Another random plays, like, you know, I'm still messing with Sui. I wanted to show you guys this website me and Johnny have been jacking around on.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh.
So clutchy.io is this website, and you know, they have some pretty cool games in here. I like this game. Basically, you know, I think I used to have my wallet connected to here, but I don't for, I think, imagery reasons. But basically, you connect your Sui wallet, and then you can play Dead Bytes. You can go in to their marketplace where they actually have a bunch of NFTs. Now, these are just all testnet type stuff, but it's interacting with the blockchain. No guarantees of any sort of airdrop or anything like that coming back to you. So don't go in there just demanding money and being some kind of Karen if you don't get the airdrop. But showing that the blockchain works, you know, being a part of the front end development of it, that's what, you know, has qualified others in the past to be eligible for those airdrops. So I'm getting involved with Coinbase's Base. I'm getting involved with Soy, or Sui, however you want to say it.
Like sui generis.
Yeah,
Top
maybe.
Sui.
I don't know. I'm not, you know, caught up on how I say things.
On
Maybe
Latin?
I should
Yeah,
be.
it's been around for a while.
Yeah. Well, and these are developers that were part of the Libra and Facebook coin project. That's what perked my ears to begin with. I was like, this has some people that have already been cooked into really large attempts at financial infrastructure before. Libra got slapped by Congress, so they weren't allowed to move forward, and Zuckerberg turned into a little lizard person, got all scared, and ran off under his rock again when it came to Libra. But
It burns us, precious.
it burns us. So he got a little bit burned on it, but I think that Sui and base, those types of things to get involved with right now. That's not a big, like, I'm going to throw $10,000 at it. I'm going to spend some time during the day to interact with this blockchain, to send value back and forth, buy some testnet NFTs, see where it lands. You know what I mean? Nothing huge, but you can't get lucky if you ain't at the fair. That's what my dad always said. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Like,
yeah, you can, because your sister's at home.
Oh, Jesus.
Got him.
This is degraded.
Nice.
We've behaved.
A little bit.
What you got?
I was just say, what stories? I mean, is anything else? What's what's spicy now?
Wait, what coin did you just buy again?
I just bought HBAR off of
okay.
out of
Just checking. Just checking.
Yeah, full disclosure, I own HBAR now. So
the founders can dump on you.
No, well, I
Decker is an H barbarian.
Well,
Officially?
I know the transaction throughput's insane, and I listened to the CEO chat. One of the interviews Ben had done with him. And the guy sounds like a genius, and so you know what? I just I like HBAR, and I here's the thing. Most of my money is in Bitcoin, 60%, 17, 18, 20% is in ETH. It's good to have exposure to these other coins because, you put $200 into it, that's, I know, might be 20, 40, 30, 100 for other people. It might be 2,000. Yeah. But when you allocate that as a small portion, you're still catching on those. I mean, you just don't feel like you lose out. I mean, it's okay that you can't put $10,000 into HBAR right now. But it's important to, diversify, I guess. That's kind of my point here. I mean, as much as I love maybe ADA or I love Bitcoin or I love ETH, I got a lot more than just that. Yeah. Right? I'm not a maxi in any capacity. So, just diversify. But yes, HBAR.
The only thing that doesn't suck not diversifying into is fiat currency because that pretty much has guaranteed lost value. We see some spoon-fed articles today. The news today was interesting. They were just highlighting the value.
Yeah, but I can't use Bitcoin to snort something off a hooker. Never mind.
That's so true. You cannot do that. But yeah, the buying power of the US dollar, it's continuing to fall. And I don't think inflation is going to be wrangled in or controlled. How about increased production? That ever, shine on anyone's brain? Maybe roll back EPA regulations so that we can actually produce in this country again and lessen the inflation rate. But no, we got to keep freight liners and all these plastic goods floating across the water for months at a time and driving up costs that way because we just have to have it. But I don't think that being in the US dollar is useful at this point for me. I will use it if I absolutely have to, is basically how I handle it. But, that's where I'm operating from. Maybe some disagree that, holding a bunch of money on the sidelines is basically just crypto, hard iron goods, and real estate for me, and chickens. I just want, I wanted to talk about
livestock.
Here we go.
You're shilling $20 chickens over there.
So my neighborhood, there has been this huge explosion on Next Door Neighbor. Everyone's looking for backyard hens and backyard roosters and stuff like that. I put up my wife put up one post about chickens that we have. That we just had a bunch of babies born out of their eggs. And so she
not born, they hatch.
They hatch.
They're not mammals.
Eggs. They were born out of the butthole, and then they came out of the egg later on. You know what I mean?
What teach them about the birds.
No, I have no time for that. You know what I mean? Bitcoin. I am busy slinging chicks to the neighborhood, and it's going pretty well. I want my neighbors to operate from a position of strength, have food on a hoof, and backup resources for themselves, so they're not bothering me. And I don't have to yell at anyone to get off my lawn if things go really south.
I'm pretty sure you're going to do that regardless.
We see you radio face crypto, by the way.
You are literally Clint Eastwood one day, Drew. On a porch with a gun and a dog and a beer.
I'm there already. You. That's not one day. It's already.
He's going to be drinking kombucha.
5:30.
Yeah. And drinking kombucha.
Also, B asked AJ, what exchange do I prefer?
Yeah.
I onboard with Coinbase. All my long-term holds are on Ledger, but I don't purchase with Ledger Live. I probably will buy something off BitGet or KuCoin and ship it over to my Ledger, and I do most of my trading on either BitGet or KuCoin based off how much leverage I want to use. Because I didn't KYC KuCoin, you can use up to 5x leverage, but if I want to do more leverage, I go with BitGet. But I want to do Bybit, so when I have a successful trade, you can see like the plus 100%. Those makes for good tweets.
Those are,
and I think I'm going to switch to Bybit just to flex, simply for flex. That's it. That's the only reason.
Wow, that's a lot of steps just to flex.
We could flex and all do our Kegels right now. I'm doing them.
You're doing Kegels?
Come on, chat. I'll do your Kegels at the same time.
That's
I think
absolutely
that's
too much.
time for us to
That's
wrap
too
it up.
much.
Right
Whatever. I
Thank
care about
you.
your health.
Thank you very much for joining us on our Kegel special.
Do your
And,
Kegels.
you know, everyone in the attic, stay golden. RC Rex, what's up, dude? Bruce Reed,
Wait, stay golden,
Shout out
but
to
not
Burley
like R.
Hildreth.
Kelly.
Deadwood,
out,
good to
Bobbins
see you,
and
dude.
Carson, I love you.
R.A. Daniel, hell yeah, Fort Druth is happening. Crimson Caravan down in the basement. We got Rug Gang. We got Manawak, good human being right there. Razmataz, excellent imagery. God, do you follow Razmataz on Twitter?
He followed
He's
me
fun.
today.
He did?
I'm super hyped.
I think
Thank
I
you,
did.
Razmataz.
Hell yeah.
Crimson Caravan. You guys are awesome. Whiteful Rabbit. Until next time, next week. we bid
Until
you
Monday,
adieu.
y'all.
Goodbye.
Also, Paul is dead.